for 4 5 minutes. Yeah. Hello, Bolale. Hi, Esther. Hi, Modesta. I got that right. Hi, Ola. Hi, Olumide. This light is really casting my forehead. I don't know if it's just me. Hi, Esther. Nice to meet you. Hello. Hi, Victor. Hi, Okwayemi. Victor joined this webinar exactly 6 o'clock. Like, he means business. He's not joking here. He's not joking here. Like, he knows why he's here and he's going for it. I love that. Hi, Victor. So you know how we do it now. You know how we do it with me. You know how we do it with me. There's no dulling over here. So if you needed to send this link to as much people as you want to send it to, you can do that right now while we are on this little break. Because I should be seeing 30, 50, 100, 200 people, 300, 400, 500 here. So let's send the link to as much people as we can. But for now, I like to know about your day. I like to know how you're doing, not just about me. And Friday is my favorite day of the week. I feel like we know that already. Friday is my favorite day of the week. But I like to know how your day is going. I like to know how work has been going. But not 9 to 5 hours, how has your day been going? On a scale of 1 to 10, all right, I rate my day. I rate my day like a 5. I'm so sorry, man. My day has been so bumpy. But my only joy right now is the fact that I'm here with you guys because I missed you. I missed each and every single one of you. Hi to the new people that are here. Blessing. Hello, Blessing. Yeah, so I want everyone, we are about 20 here, so I want to see like 20 comments, right? Let me know how your day is going on the scale of 1 to 10. So you can rate it 5, 6, 7. Usually I get good comments here, and everybody's day is always going well every time I'm here. Exactly. Like this already is 7. I feel like 7 is fair, right? I feel like 7 is fair. Hi, Akinpelu. Akinpelu is always on webinars. There are some names that I just already know, and Akingbeli is one of that. Hi, Blessing. Glad to be here. Blessing, rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know. Let me know. 10 because it's Friday. I mean, it's a Friday. Thank God it's Fridays. Get to have your Saturday and your Sunday. And I don't joke about my Saturdays or my Sundays. So yes, thank God it's Friday for me. But 10 is a good thing. 7, Esther, what's going on? What was it there? 7. What happened to the remaining 3? What happened to the remaining 3? Abimbola said it's day 8. I need to know some inside gist about that, Abimbola. I need to know some inside gist about that, Bimbola. Ademola, nice to see you. Hello. Okay, I'm not seeing you, like seeing you, but you got the point. Hi, Ademola. Nice to meet every single one of you here. I am so psyched and I cannot wait for it to just start. So, like I said before, we're already at 21. We can do better, right? Send the link to as much people as you can. But while you're doing that, don't forget to let me know how your day is going on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm not going to forget. I'm really not going to forget. On a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how your day is going. I'm. It's not like I like cheese, though. It's not like I like cheese, but I really want to know how your day is going for real. Hi, Habib. Hi, Catherine. Hello. Hi, Noye. And yes, Happy New Month, everybody. Quick gist, it's my birthday month. I would tell you guys when, but it's my birthday month. I'm a bit psyched about this month. Uh, I don't know. I feel some good vibes from this month. Hello, hello. Going well, just expecting a response. So happy birthday in advance. Stop. Stop. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But you're hopeful. Of course you're hopeful. And I cannot wait for you to get that reply as soon as possible. As soon as possible. So I think we can start, right? I think we can start. 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 I really want to see some comments though. I've not, I don't think I've gotten enough. I don't think I've gotten enough. I don't think I've gotten enough. But I think we can start. I think we can start. Hello, everybody. As you know, for the ones that do not know, I'm Anita, obviously, your favorite girl bestie. Any other person? Every other person is a counterfeit. It's nice to meet everyone here today. It's been a while I went live and I really, really miss. When I say I missed you, I'm not even trying to tease you guys. I really, really missed each and every one of you. And being here is, I'm smiling. I literally had almost a bad day, but I'm here smiling. That's to show you something. And the fact that this topic really, it means a lot to me, right? Because I feel like it's very important for every single person that is even thinking about moving abroad, right? So, welcome to this webinar. You already know my name, Anita, and I am excited to discuss a topic that is very crucial for everyone preparing to relocate, understanding your destination country, and most importantly, moving with sense. Most importantly, moving with sense. And today we have a very special guest, a very, very special guest. Even though he said that his day was on a 10, that's a solid 10 over 10. Anyways, he's in he's out of the country. So of course his day is gonna be a 10 over 10. But yeah, we have the co-founder right here at Vesti, CEO, Mr. Olusola Amusan here with us. So when I tell you to send that link, you better send that link. Send that link because we have a special guest today. Send that link ASAP as I'm speaking to you. Do that. So yeah, so today's session titled Move with Sense is about making sure you're not just moving, right? Because there's you just moving because you want to move. I mean, but moving with a plan and not just a plan, a solid plan and clear expectations. Like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how my visa interview is going to go. This is how everything is going to go. And I feel like with the right knowledge, moving abroad becomes just much more smoother. And that's what we aim to provide. Like I say, like Vesti just always wants to give you soft life. I'm still going to keep saying that we just want to give you soft life. So I'm really excited to invite Mr. I'm supposed to be doing drum rolls. Sorry. I'm supposed to be doing drum rolls. Mr. Olusola Amusan here with us so we can start the webinar. So we can start the webinar. Yeah, I should be seeing, yes, clapping of hands. Clapping. Anita always with the vibes. What can I do? What can I do? We're still in special guest. He has to take his time. This is all white. All white. Good day, sir. I was just telling them how, of course, your day is going to be a 10 over 10 because you're not here with us. I am so excited to have you today for our webinar. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Really nice to be here and nice to see your contagious energy all the time, you know? It's really exciting. I'm sure people love it.
I like your shirts.
Thank you. You know, I'm
I wish
back
I
on
could
this
show
side, so
I wish I could show you guys my full steez, but I'm sitting there. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to do too much. So yeah, I was just telling them how is this topic is really important because you're not just moving, you're moving with sense. you're moving with sense. And we're going to cover so much important factors to both research and consider before you move, but before you move and after you move. So from understanding your how to go about your visa interviews, all of that, handling your financial services, housing, all of that, your visa pathways, we are discussing it here and here. And we're going to also dive into how Vesti is always here to, give yourself life, support you in your relocation journey, offering resources that makes planning, preparation, adapting so much more easier. So let's get to it, right? Let's get to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nice to be here, guys. Really happy you guys could join us wherever you're watching from, on the continent or outside. Sometimes we have people joining us from even America, from the UK, from Canada. Many times we have people joining us from Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, all of those places where we work. My name is Olusola Amusan. Most people call me SA. I'm co-founder and CEO here at Vesti. And they don't invite me to the webinars all the time, so I'm happy whenever they do. And today we are talking about moving with sense. So I moved to the US about 6 years ago. And before I moved, there were certain things I considered, some of which I will be sharing with you guys today. And there are some things that I wish I considered, which I now encourage people to consider so they can move with sense. And this balance, for those who are not aware, like sense really means like move with a lot of awareness, with a lot of understanding, that's what it means. But in Nigerian parlance, they ask you, do you have sense? Meaning that, are you really, really, are you really aware of what you're doing? So that's why we created this and said, move with sense. So if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for joining. You can drop your questions right there. If you're watching us on Zoom, you can also drop your questions. Anita is here to make sure that anytime it looks like I'm derailing or going too far, she can come bring me back, and then also help me look into the chat and monitor what is going on. One thing I've noticed when you do webinars is that many people join you like in the middle and towards the end, and then they ask questions. If you are joining us at a time other than this period when we're starting, all you just need to do is to wait till the very end. You can watch this again, and you can also ask us some questions, and we will try our best to be able to answer it. So my own journey starts from the year 2014. I just left FUTA, where I did my bachelor's degree and started my master's. And I had moved to Lagos newly as an employee at Microsoft. Phenomenal role. This role would eventually expose me to travel to different countries as a visitor, attending conferences and things like that. But that started fanning to flame an intention or a desire that I had always had 10 years prior, which is to live abroad or to move abroad. What I considered would help me to fulfill my potential was to leave the limits of my environment or my surroundings, and basically be able to explore what the world has to offer. So when I got to Microsoft, that gave me the chance to start traveling to different countries. And that was the first time I started thinking about permanently moving abroad. So in 2016, 2018, I'd made a few attempts. I would come, maybe stay longer than, was usual, longer than 2 weeks. Maybe I'll stay like 2, 3 months because I have a family thing to do and so on and so forth. And then later on, I started looking at what options are available for me. And in thinking about those options, there were lots of things that came into consideration. One of the things that came into consideration was you have a visiting visa. Why don't you just travel and stay back on that visiting visa? That was for me, for my wife. Why don't we just stay back, right? And this is it, right? Move with sense. And in discovering that, I had a voice of reasoning around me. My wife, she was like, think about it. You have a great career going on for you. And I don't know who is on this session today, who you work somewhere, you're okay. You know that there could be so much more, but it's not like you have a bad life or a completely struggling life. So that was me at that period. And in considering what was the right decision to do, I figured that using a visa type that was not meant for staying back in America was going to be a big red flag for me. And there are some of you, many, many of you who would have been told things like, if you get a visiting visa, then you are destined to live in America. I've heard that before. like they do that to be able to excuse the whole idea that, you can actually use a visiting visa. You're not supposed to use a visiting visa to move somewhere permanently. It's supposed to be, just an avenue for you to visit, do what you need to do and move back. So in thinking about moving with sense, the very first thing I avoided, and I want everybody who's watching this webinar to actually avoid, is moving with an inappropriate visa to a new country. If you've been asked to go to the US or to Canada or to Germany for a 2 week conference or a 1 week conference, that visa has been designed for you to visit, explore, ask questions, maybe visit a lawyer, maybe talk to university, find out what exactly you should do if you wanted to stay back legally. But don't just take laws into your hands and say, I'm going to stay back because it's my destiny. Since I got this visiting visa, it's definitely my destiny to stay here. That is one thing that makes people, lose their way. And for the most part, now get to a point where they're living in a country illegally and their life would have been better if they were back home. It's the difference between some of us who, by privilege and providence, we can go back and forth at any time. Just 2 days ago, this time 2 days ago, I was in Nigeria, and now I'm here, and then maybe I'm going to another country next couple of weeks, who knows, So I'm able to do that simply because I did not make that mistake at that time. So that's number one thing you want to figure out, you want to assess. So in that story that I was telling earlier, I basically began to assess what the pathway should be, what I can do. Then I looked at my skill set, my education. People message me and be like, oh, I have a family member who has SSC. What route do you recommend? I'll be like, oh, sorry, I don't have enough information about that person, because the fact that the person doesn't have any SSC doesn't mean that that's the story of their life. That's not the end of their life. Maybe they don't have more than SSC, but they've won so award. Or they don't have more than SSC, but they are the coordinator of men and women's fellowship in church. Oh, they do not have this, but they are an author. Oh, they don't have this, but they are the chairman of Rotaract or Lions Club of something. Oh, they don't have that, but they have 3, 4 stores of cocoa or cement and all of that, which shows that they have a registered business. So things like that, you have to learn more about this person's situation. So assessing your skills is one of the key things you want to think about when you are looking to move with sense. Don't worry, guys, towards the end and sometimes in the middle, I'm going to talk about some of the things you guys like to hear. There are different type of visas that we offer at Vesti. Some of you are looking for the opportunity to use this as your clarity call so that you're not going to pay for clarity call. Don't worry, I'm here for you. That's part of the gift I give to people who attend webinars. God bless you. Thank you, please, and thank you, as my daughter likes to say. But in the meantime, my goal here today is to talk about the things that agents don't talk to you about, the things that consultants don't talk to you about, and that is messing up a lot of people's journey. It is the reason why we termed it Move with Sense. So the first thing I first said is, no matter the temptation, if you get a visiting visa to Canada, if you get a visiting visa to the US, if you get a visiting visa to the UK, don't necessarily use it. Don't use it as, oh, I'm just going to stay back illegally. Now, there are some countries where your visiting visa can be considered a dual intent visa, meaning that when you get to the country, you can actually convert to another visa type. That is a different story. But if you are not confident, if you are not sure, you've not read it on the government website, not that an agent told you, you've not read it by yourself on the government website with references that it is possible, please don't do it so that you don't. The second mistake is people don't assess their skills. I have a theory at Vesti where I usually say something like, go to the country that wants you. I don't know anybody in the chat that has heard that before from me. Go to the country that is also looking for you. Don't go to a country that you only want to go to. Find out which country actually is looking for me. And what that means, what does that mean? Somebody's like, how do I know the country looking for me? What that means is there are countries who have specific programs where they've announced they are looking for agricultural practitioners. They are looking for legal practitioners. They are looking for nurse practitioners, things like that. Or they're looking for medical practitioners or doctors. You want to find out if there is a country that is requesting for your type of skill set, for what you studied in the US, for what you studied back home, for what you studied in your bachelor's and master's degree. That's what I wanted to say. So you have to think about what country actually wants me. That's part of moving with sense. So in my own case, I had stumbled on a report prior that there will be 2.1 million new data scientists needed in the United States by the year 2021. And this year was 2018. So not only did I start preparing myself to be a data scientist or somebody who understands data science, I even started a whole business on that data point. I started a whole business and I was training people on data science. And many of them today have either gotten to the US as People who came for master's degree or who came to work directly came on H-1B. Some of them even came on special talent visa. So always, I stumbled on that report. That report said in the US, they would need this. I'm sure some of you have seen some of these reports before where they say UK is looking for 5,000 truck drivers, or Dubai is looking for 3,000 doctors, or Saudi Arabia may need to hire 11,000 doctors before the end of the year. If you've not been seeing those kind of reports, if you subscribe to Migration Fries, that's if you sign up on Vesti and you subscribe to Migration Fries, we send that almost every other Wednesday, I think. And that information, it talks about all the beautiful news on migration going on all around the world and the not too beautiful ones as well. But that's something that you definitely want to check out. So always find out which countries need my type of skill set. Some countries may have announced it years prior, but they haven't stopped that program. So that would help you to be able to determine. So that's part of moving with sense. Assess your skill set, your current skill set, assess your knowledge. Let me talk a little more about assessing your skill set. When we're leaving Nigeria, because my wife runs a costume jewelry company, and she wanted to think about what other things she could do because she's really, really, she has this dexterity with her hands and all of that. So she went on, she invited a friend of ours that is a popular baker, and she went to learn how to make cakes. That's part of adding to your skill set because you're about to move. And then she went on to call another person and she learned how to do makeup, which is cosmetology. And that set the background, the foundation for her by the time she got here to do a cosmetology program. So in terms of moving with sense, you want to assess your skill set. You want to think about the skill set that you have. I know of people who maybe studied accounting or banking and finance or studied business administration, and they decided that because they learned that in the country they are going to, cybersecurity is important, or business analysis is important. Then they went on to do a 3 weeks, 4 weeks crash course on cybersecurity. That is part of assessing your skill set. So you are moving, your story will be different by the time you get to the new country. You're not just moving. This is what makes Vesti special. We're not just concerned about helping you to move abroad or just collecting money from you, and then we say bye-bye. No, we start from intent management. The reason why you're trying to move is not because you don't like your home country. The reason why you're trying to move is not because you don't like your family members no more. The reason you're trying to move is because you want to open the doors of prosperity. You want to succeed at a new level. You feel like the environment you are is not providing you the right resources to become who you need to be. So because we understand that that is where you're going to ultimately, we want to provide you support from now that would help you achieve that result. Many people have gotten visas and they arrive in the country 2 years. They're still trying to figure out themselves. Why? Because they didn't move with sense. All right. Anytime I say it, you say it together with me, wherever you are, because they didn't move with sense. So in moving with sense, what we're trying to say is think about the considerations. What are those considerations before you move to any new country? We've talked about not just using any type of visa, making sure it's a suitable visa. We've talked about your knowing whether that country wants you, and now we're talking about skill set. So you have to ask yourself, what is obtainable in that place right now? What skill set are needed? Some of them are hard skills, some of them are soft skills. Some of them are things that you need to learn with your hands, and some of them are actually soft skills that you actually need to watch, do a Coursera course, do a course on Udacity, do a course on Lempali, where you're just preparing yourself for that new country that you are going to. So you must assess your skill set. And I've given an example of how my spouse decided to go on and learn how to bake cake, how to do makeup, because as she gets to the new country, these are going to become very handy. They're going to come in very handy for them. I always tell people, like, if you are going to a country like the US that is left-hand driving as well, or you're going to a country like the UK that is right-handed. Unfortunately, I doubt if you can practice right-handed in Nigeria, but at least know how to drive before you leave home. Now, this is important. Guys are like, why are you talking about all this? Because the opportunities you have open to you, if you know how to drive, is different from the opportunities you have, if you don't know how to drive. So over on this call, they're like, why is Essie talking about driving today? I'm telling you things that I wish people knew before they moved. And now I know there are people on this call, they will not raise their hand, but if I ask, can you drive? You will see that there are people on this call that can't drive at all. So when you get to the US and the first thing you get, the first opportunity you get is, before you get your documents maybe completely aligned, perhaps maybe you came with a work permit, but you're still expecting the EAD in the mail, or you've even gotten your EAD and you haven't gotten the next white collar job, right? You've not gotten like the opportunity to work in Microsoft, Google, those places you aspire to be, which you will still work. But for now, somebody says, I'm okay here, but I need somebody to drop off my kids at school and bring them back home. I'm like, sorry, I can't drive. Or you are managing with a friend or with a family member, and then you're a burden to them because that's why the fact that they have extra cars, you can't actually drive. Now, your driver's license in Nigeria, you can actually use to drive for up to 6 months in many of the countries that signed I don't know whether it's the 1982 convention, but there's a convention where countries around the world agreed that you can use the same, standards, to learn that you learned how to drive with that you can use in those countries. So don't be a burden to somebody. Don't be a burden to somebody. Many people survived off of initial jobs like ride hailing, food delivery, and so on and so forth. And that was only possible for them because they were able to learn how to drive initially. Part of the toolkit, I did a course recording over the past week. I was talking about toolkits to be able to move abroad. Part of it is don't waste your time. Make sure you get your international driver's license as well. So it's not just your local driver's license, but international driver's license is also like super, super important, if you were looking to move abroad. So try to get that ready. So skill set is important. Knowledge is important. Knowledge is very broad. It's different from skill set. Knowledge is broad. Knowledge is talking about the knowledge of where you are going to. I see people who they're just so overwhelmed with the whole process, which is understandable that they're not even really thinking about, which airport will I first land? What's the name of the city? How do I get around in that place? All those things are very important. Today the world is it's such a global village that you can actually search for the address and look for all the things that are around it. Restaurants around me, bars around me, libraries around me, churches around me, mosque around me. So essentially, you can use that to determine and have situational awareness of the environment of where you're going to. And I've seen people who, because they did something like that, they were able to determine that, wow, this is a place where there are no economic opportunities. I can't even hustle around here. I need to change my location just because they became aware. So knowledge of the environment is very important. There are people who watch movies just for watching movies. There are people who watch movies, but they're very observant. Do you get me? So there are people that are very observant that when they watch a movie, they're watching a Raymond Reddington movie, or they're watching like a Kerry Washington, in let's say Scandal, for example. They've seen all the environment, they've seen all the things, they've seen DC, and when they come to that environment, it feels like they've lived there before. That is part of the knowledge I'm talking about. So if you're moving to France, you're moving to France, you're moving to Germany, you're moving to Denmark, read up about that environment. Watch videos that are about that environment. Watch documentaries that are about that environment. Understand where the eateries are, where the restaurants are, where the post offices are, and things like that. This knowledge can go a long way in helping you prepare when you are looking at moving. And sometimes it helps people make decisions such as, you know what, maybe it's not the right time. Decisions such as, oh, maybe we should consider another state entirely. And this continues to help. I've heard of people who moved to places where they never knew they were hostiles around there. I'm talking about people that may be racist or are not as welcoming of visitors. And these are things you need to think about. And it's not just in America, it could be in Canada, it could be in the UK. So you want to think about places where they're a little more accommodating because you know that they have worked and lived with people that are maybe expats or people from the international community, or they are educated enough that they have traveled to be able to understand that, this is what, not go to a place where it's the first time they are seeing a black person. And then your experience as an immigrant, is formed off of that. And that can go a long way in determining whether you think it was a good decision that you made or not. So knowledge, I know I cannot exhaust it. So let's just leave it that way. Maybe when you answer some questions, then I'll be able to go into that. Let's talk about credit. Credit. Credit is really important. Now, this is something people don't even pay attention to at all. So most of the countries you are moving to in the global north are based off of credit. They live off of credit. When we talk about the global north, we're referring to like North America, we're referring to like all these other countries that are, not necessarily in the southern hemisphere. And the global north, typically they already are, they're so developed in their financial systems that, credit is so important to them. And what it means essentially is that you almost can't buy anything, that is of worth without somebody asking you, what's your credit score? Not just because they want you to borrow money, but also because they want to understand what your profile has been in the system in terms of responsibility to the system over time. Now, in Nigeria, if you're watching from Nigeria, and even in Ghana, so Ghana also, funny enough, Ghana also doesn't have a credit score right now. Ghana just has attributes. But Nigeria recently started having a credit score, Anita, and many people still don't know. So maybe Bolanle, Ola, Opeyemi, some of you may have just been hearing for the first time that Nigeria actually has a credit score. You need to try to obtain your credit score before it is needed. Obtain your credit score before it's even needed. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, he recently was working on something and he needed a facility for a project he's working on, only for him to find out that something he had finished paying for 5 years ago was still showing up on his credit score that he had not paid for it. So there are some of you, and it also happened to me when I moved here, and we just launched a service on Vesti that allows you to be able to import your credit score from Nigeria to the US so that you can access credit facilities. So I was running my credit as a test on that platform, only for me to see that the MacBook I bought when I was in Microsoft, that I'd already paid for, because I bought it then, I was, paying small, was still showing that I was owing 48,000 on the credit score, and it affected my credit score. So many of you need to go and check what your credit is actually saying. If it's not coming with any report as well, that's the more reason why you should try to get something on credit, very small, that you can be paying gradually, because now you're moving to a country where credit is important. Somebody here is like, Coleto here now, meaning that it's not that hard now. When you get here and you have to wait for 2 years to get stuff done, that's when you now realize that, oh my God, I wish I had done it, but you can't do it any longer in retrospect. So that's why this work is a little hard, because you are telling people about where you have been and what you have experienced. And it takes somebody who trusts you to decide to listen to that stuff. Otherwise, they'll get there and learn the hard way by themselves. But I'm hoping that there will be people here who pay attention to that. One other thing that we're trying to do at Vesti is we're trying to convert your financial history from your old country to the equivalent in the US. Now, it's not all Nigerian banks that have what do you call it now, a motivation or incentive to do that. There's no incentive or motivation to do that. So why should Guarantee Trust be trying to help you send your details here, or Access Bank or any other bank whatsoever? But in our own case, we're like a binocular bank, in quote, like we are in Nigeria, or we call it bilateral, I don't know. But we're in Nigeria and we're also like in the US, and we can essentially convert your financial, details to the US equivalent. And someone says, I thought you guys were just an immigration company. We're a migration fintech. So we have a wallet that if you use it like a bank account, there's an account number attached to it as well. We can import your history to the US and then provide it as a US equivalent for you to rent a house, for you to be able to buy a car, also accompanied by your credit. So that is something that is unprecedented, and we're excited to be the one driving this. So I've talked about credit, which is important. I'm going to talk quickly about savings. If you have some questions, please start putting it in the chat. Also here and on YouTube, and hopefully you can track both. Let's talk about savings. Now, although there is not enough that you can save, you can't save enough for any migration project. But trust me, you can save something that would at least not make you immediately need help. You can save something that reduces the challenges that you would face. You can also save to just at least be able to demonstrate some form of financial prudency and awareness. So savings are important. On the Vesti app as well, if you don't have the Vesti, I've talked about Vesti app. I don't know, what is Vesti app? It's actually an app that makes it easy for you to move abroad and also move your money. So if you go to the Google Play Store or the App Store, over 800,000 people have downloaded it. Go on, download it, and create a profile. So on the Vesti app, for example, we allow you to save. We allow you to save for your migration, and you can get up to 9% in returns back as you continue to save in terms of interest. But I don't even think so much about the interest, which is if not about the old financial responsibility that comes with you saving. So I encourage you to check that out and save as you prepare for your journey. Saving is really important. It can help you to sort out things like rent, a car, and then you don't become a financial burden for other people. So when you're thinking about the considerations for moving with sense, saving is one of them. I see a lot of people, they message me, they're like, I want to move abroad, but I don't have money. Is there any way you guys can help me to do it? Like, it's look, the tickets are not free. The lawyers are not free. The government will collect fees. Even the consulates in Lagos and Abuja, you have to pay something, or in Accra or in Nairobi, you have to pay something. So your credential evaluation, if you want to request your transcript from your university right now, you're going to pay something. So it's always good to at least start from somewhere. Even if you're going to ask for help, it's good to start from somewhere. And this will lead me to talking about our loan program. So we provide lending for people who are interested in moving abroad and can't afford all of it. So we provide lending, non-collateral lending for education for 600 universities that we support. You can ask my colleague about it after this session. And we also provide a collateral support, which will require collateral, like a house or a piece of land or a car, to people who are moving that are not students, who are just moving abroad for something else. Either you did this visas through us or you did it through another organization, but preferably do it with us. Now, what led me to lending is to say that if you don't save some money, there will be too much burden on you to lend or to borrow money. And it is why I always tell people that if you've saved some money, you can use that as equity and say, okay, I need $20,000, but I've saved 3,000. Or I need $20,000 for my school fees, but my uncle has decided to give me, 1,000, and I also have 1,000 saved. So that kind of thing really helps you, even in approval odds. Approval odds are basically the chances that a loan company is going to approve you to get a certain loan. So when I say increases your approval odds, what I'm saying in essence is that when you save, you are demonstrating that you are willing to contribute to the process of raising this money for what you are trying to do. So saving is always important. So I take people seriously more when they say, this thing will cost me $400 and I've already saved $150 out of it. I'm like, okay, you have a foot in the door. Then we can talk about how else we can help you. So people who have savings usually have higher approval odds, even when they are lending or when they are borrowing money for education or generically for other things. So take note of that. This is really, really important. Anita, don't worry. I have two more points and then I will throw it back to you. So the fifth one I will talk about is make friends. Make friends. This is underrated, but as I tell people, part of moving with sense is actually make friends. Make friends abroad. Make friends where you are going to. It goes a very long way. Make friends and be genuinely committed to them. Do something to support them from where you are. I remember the days where Facebook first came. I would start networking with people that are in the UK, people that are in the US, such that by the time I moved there, I started like making good, relationship and all of that, and those relationships really, really helped, and all that. So it's important to make friends. I always encourage people, also try to resuscitate or rejuvenate friendships from like your college days, university days, primary school, people who have moved abroad, not by asking them for things or asking them for money or anything, but sort of like, oh, which state are you? What's your motivation for moving to that state? Oh, what do you do for work there? How difficult is it for someone to get a job there? What certifications do you think are important? If somebody announces online that they just finished a certification and they are based in a state you want to move to, find out more about it. How can I get that certification? How can I educate myself more about this and about that? So that goes a long way. Make friends. And don't just make friends with people that are from your culture alone or from your tribe or from your country. Think about people that are from other countries as well. Join associations where that are multicultural, organizations that are global, where you'll be able to reach out to somebody. Maybe you attended a webinar and you saw a Caucasian or you saw someone else from another country or an Hispanic or a Spanish person or somebody, and they're on the call. Reach out to them and be like, hey, it would be nice to make acquaintance of you. Tell me more about your interests. Can we do a follow-up call? Can we have a virtual coffee session? And then you can ask them questions about their environment and all of that. Especially, I tell people, people ask me, maybe they're doing a special talent visa with us. And they say, oh, will you find me a job when I get there? and because we're not a job agency, we're actually a migration fintech. I tell them, I said, once you get the visa and you're like 2, 3 months to travel, you should be the one announcing on LinkedIn that, hey guys, I'm moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the next couple of months, and it'll be lovely to, connect with anybody that is into anthropology or education or finance, or depending on what your field is. Really, there are also some groups where you can go to on LinkedIn and other social media platforms that have people living in XYZ, or engineers living in XYZ, or doctors living in New York, for example. You get on those communities, you make friends, you'll be shocked what will happen. They can help you in finding a house. They can help you in even, I've seen people who got all of their furniture donated by people in a community that they're part of simply because they reached out and made friends. Nobody will tell you these things I'm telling you for free. So I don't know why all of you are quiet in the chat. I want to be hearing that, oh, this makes sense, this makes sense. It has to make sense. So, anyways, I actually know it does. Because I wish that people told me some of these things before I moved here. So make friends, make friends, make friends, make friends, make friends, make friends. This other one is like, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. And this is, avoid using agents that have not been to countries you are trying to go to. This is a very important issue. This is like moving with sense. How can you meet somebody under an umbrella in Freedom Way, or in Tetekwashi, in Ghana, or in Tema, under the Accra Mall? You met this guy in Accra Mall, he himself has not gone to the US, he has not gone to Canada, he has not gone to the UK, or he has not gone to any of these countries, and he wants to get you a work permit there. He wants to help you to get there. You need to really take that with a pinch of salt. I mean, unfortunately, some people have been lied to, where somebody will fake an accent and tell you they just came back from XYZ. Do your research, do your research, do your research. A part of moving with sense is to avoid like these unregulated agents and look for companies who are licensed, companies who have attorneys, companies who are regulated, companies who are established, like Vesti, that can help you through that process and that care about actually, getting you to the place, people that care about their track record, people that care about their success rate. These are the guys you want to work with. Not an agent, you can't even find where he lives, you don't know where he works, you don't know where his office is, he doesn't have staff. Like, I've seen people who they went to a one-man business, then the person who's running the one-man business fell into a problem, and that will affect 25, 30 clients. All the money they collected, they use it for personal problems, to solve personal problems. But when you have a company that's a vision, that's a future, that is well funded, you are looking at an organization that you can trust. Even if the case officer that you're working with leaves the organization still has the obligation to get you to where you should go to, not the one that the agent has stopped doing that business completely and he has moved to something else, and then you are wondering what's going to happen to me or what's going to happen to my case. So avoid, unscrupulous agents, or avoid maraudas, and how to know them is, number one, half of the time they haven't been to the countries that they want to take you to, and there's a Yoruba proverb that if somebody says they can make clothes for you, you want to look at what they are wearing first, so you have to think about that as part of what you can adapt on. Things are hard, especially in Africa and Nigeria right now. So you don't want to use your hard-earned money in ways that would not yield the results that you're looking for. So this is part of moving with sense. I'll go over it again. Skill sets, knowledge, credits, savings. I talked about lending there, or borrowing money, make friends, and avoid unscrupulous agents. I have to make those notes because I have been trying to articulate, some of the things that are very important to me in terms of moving with sense, and just knowing what considerations you should put in place. Some of you have attended multiple of these webinars, so you have actually gained some other things in some other webinars, and now you're gaining this in another webinar. Someone says you're ministering to me directly on this. This is not intended to be a ministration, but however, if you take it like that, somebody shout amen. Anyways, so so basically, these are some considerations I want you to put in mind, as you're going through this process. There are a couple of things that we don't get to market or talk about enough when it comes to Vesti, because we just really care about results. Those are not even doing things that are as elaborate as us. So this is the Vesti app. Go ahead right now, download it from the Apple Store and from the Google Play Store. And you can see you have the ability to apply for the US green card. You can fill a form for the US H-1B visa lottery. You can ask Maya. Maya is our migration assistant, our migration AI. You can ask for loans on the Vesti app for migration. These are key things you can do. And of course, you can book a flight. So, and it's not just international flight, it's local flights as well to Lagos and Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Accra, Kinshasa, Entebbe, Nairobi, all across the continent and outside as well. And those are the best prices you can find around. If you log into the app, you're going to see a wallet, and this wallet basically is where I told you can begin to save and think about how to move abroad. There are also other quick actions like getting virtual dollar cards. Let me tell you the story of how we started these virtual dollar cards. When people move to the US or to the UK, from the airport, they start experiencing problems. Their Uber can't work because the cards that they are using from back home are now not working anymore because they're in a new geography. So getting a virtual dollar card before you travel is part of moving with sense. Then we have the pathways to move abroad. These pathways, for those of you who are still at the beginning of your journey, you'll be able to see multiple ways that you can actually move to a new country. So it's not just one way, the popular way everybody talks about. Then you see groups that you can join to chat. You see webinars that we have held in the past. You can see payments if you wanted to make payments for migration fees. There's just so many things. I can't wait to talk to you about, like some things around, how to find love on Vesti. We are still coming up with something like that. Don't worry, it's coming soon. Booking your flights, which I talked about earlier, loans to move abroad, savings, bill payments, migration fees, business banking, credits, US bank account, Vesti cards, and so on and so forth. So this is a super app for helping you move to a new country and also providing you with all the support that you need. Do you need to speak to a lawyer to move abroad? Do you need to speak to an attorney from our team? All you need to do is to tap on the speak to an attorney right here on the login on the top right. And when you click on speak to an attorney, it's going to open up and show you the different type of calendar calls that you can book. I know it's difficult for some of you to see, but you can basically click on the call and then book a time on the calendar. Many of these calls cost like, ridiculously low, but the goal is whatever you pay for it is going to be charged towards the service that you're trying to do at Vesti. Yeah, I mean, that's like what I wanted to say. It's been the last 40 minutes of just like, sharing and talking about moving with sense. I know there are some questions you guys we have. There are also some questions Anita we have. There may be something Anita wants me to double click on. I'm more than happy to double click on it. And then you guys, I'm sure this has been useful for you in some way, shape, or form. Anita, over to you.
See, honestly, all I can say is that there are some things I will not cast myself, but there are some things that I'm learning for the first time. And I'm not even joking. I was paying full attention to this because I mean, he said it all and it was an amazing session. I don't even want it to, to end, to be honest. But I'll open the floor for everyone that wants to have, like, you have your questions that you want to ask. Me, I felt like you said it all. Because I was even going to go back to the whole when he said you need to find friends. I was going to tell you guys that we have an amazing community that you can always join to just make things easier for you. Then I was going to mention the virtual dollar card, and he already mentioned. I was like, okay, this man is in my head. He knows what I want to talk about. So honestly, he said it all. Vesti gives you all the soft life you need. So if you have any questions, do not be shy. Don't be shy. This is a safe space to ask all your questions, and we'll get it answered in about, let's say, 5, 6, 7 minutes. And I'm so sad that we have to end this webinar. Maybe we'll pick on those parts too. And you mentioned something about the love relationships. I know so many people are going to be so excited about that because I mean, if you cannot find love in Nigeria, you might as well just find love
You might as
somewhere.
well. Don't worry. Don't let us let the cat out of the bag about
No,
that.
no,
But
no,
there's
no.
something coming. You guys would love it, and we're already sort of like teasing it. If you go into the app, you can see that there's some names that are changing on the app, but just start become part of our community, and you'll be one of those people that will be first to know about it.
That's about it, guys. Become part of our community. Whatever questions you have, make sure to type it in the chat box. I don't know why you guys were silent in most of this session because I was expecting so many questions, so many chime-ins, but none of that. And you guys know how I like my webinars. I like my webinars very interactive, very gist kind of webinars. How can we become part of this? First of all, he mentioned, do you have an Vesty account? Have you signed into the Vesty app? There's feeds. Feeds is there for you. There's Telegram. We have Telegram. We have where do you want community that we don't have? We have everywhere. Yeah, like you said, download the app, create an account, join. I knew you guys were going to ask this. I want to know more about the O1 visa. I want to know more about the O1 visa. Okay, now I see the chat box is coming alive. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
My house has been up for some time.
Okay, what would you like to ask?
Hello.
We can hear you.
I would like to first appreciate Mr. Amusan for the wonderful storytelling presentation that we have had. I work in the sport business, and I hear him say that there's a list of 600 universities. My passion is to send as many people.
I don't know if
And I want to find out if there's a partnership that we can work with university.
Is that your question?
Yeah, that's my question. I would like to have a personal conversation with Mr. Amusan. If it's possible.
Absolutely. I can hear you. I'm not away from you. I'm actually here. You're not talking behind my back. So I'm actually here.
Reach out to me again before. You
Yeah.
haven't responded.
Well,
But
LinkedIn is a large marketplace. I'm sorry about that. I have a lot of yeah. So I just put a message in the chat for partnerships. Email ife@wevesty.com and cc.olu@wevesty.com, which is my email. So I'm asking you to do that. Please don't write Ife and forget to copy me. And don't write me and forget to copy Ife. It's important. So Ife is in charge of partnership, and he will make sure that we track it and we can, look at it in order of priority. It's important because my schedule is a little all over the place. So I would appreciate your patience on that. And within a week or two, hopefully we can find some time to talk more about it. I don't know if that works, but that your passion definitely aligns with our vision as well. So we're looking forward to doing something together, God willing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions. I want to believe that we're all clear and we all have the sense to to move abroad in every ramification, in every way possible. And I just honestly, like I said, I'm really excited and I'm really glad we had this conversation because so many people. I said I learned a lot from this. I'm not going to tell you guys about my driving skills, but I never knew some things about this. And I'm super glad I was here today. And I'm sure you guys enjoyed this too as much as I did. I would like for us to rate it and let me know. And let me know what you think. But for now, we will see you some other time. I would see you some other time, definitely. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I want to especially thank Mr. Olusola Amusan for also taking out his time It's very, very busy time.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Don't loud it. Don't loud it. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Excited to be here. Love you all. We're going to send you guys some follow-up emails after this session. And that's going to have some action items. Take a look at it. It would include the recording of the session, as well as the links to be able to learn more about our platform, to download the app. But also, if you were looking at, for example, like Sonny, who wants to do the O1 visa, what is the next step for you? And I see there's Ola Toast, I think, who was talking about not being able to reach a team member. Mumi has already mentioned that they sent you an email earlier, but always feel free, please. If you send an email and nobody gets it, please, or somebody's not responding, it could be because they're stuck somewhere or they've been traveling, and sometimes some people forget to put the out of office there. So that's why we say always CC us. If you CC some of us who are less busier than some of those case officers, we will nudge them to say, okay, this is what is going on. That happens sometimes. We appreciate if you can extend some grace, and understanding. Also, most people from where I'm from in Nigeria don't like sending reminders. Reminders are very powerful because they push information on the top of the emails of people and can let you get priority even over others that may have been delayed. So essentially, this is how we want to look at that. And anywhere we can help, we're more than happy to provide assistance with that. Sometimes we have to teach people and say reply all. Some people will not reply all. They will reply only one person, and that one person is on maternity leave, or that one person, so sometimes it happens. So that's why. So we appreciate those of you who are understanding enough and know how this works. But for some other people that are facing the challenge still, we'll keep working together until we understand how we can work better with each other. All right? Thank you so much.
Okay, I hope I'm seeing so many good comments, and I'm shy, but no, you're not going to see me. But thank you very much, guys, again. And do not forget to download the Vesty app. Visit our website, vvesty.com. We're always here. You can follow us at Vesty Official everywhere. We're literally everywhere. We want to be in y'all's faces. We're everywhere. So do not forget to download, message us, follow us, and I cannot wait to see you guys again. Thank you so much for this. Have a nice day, guys.